What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another edition of the podcast. My name is Ramon, and this is Dad's podcast project. And today, my kids just didn't want to go to bed. I I know I've talked about this in the past, but sometimes it is an issue. They just they want to fight that nap, and I don't understand why. And I'll tell you this: I hope that they get to enjoy their rest and get to enjoy the luxury of sleep that my wife and I hope to allow for them when they get older, because once you have children, that is out the window. That is not happening anymore. And it was advice that was given to me by a friend before our son was born. He told me, get all the sleep that you can now, because once your son is born, it ain't happening. You're not getting any sleep. And boy, was he not lying. He was right on it with that advice. You don't get any sleep. So when my coworker, he was having his son, I gave him that same bit of advice, because he is the type that after work, he was up late. He had after work curricular activities or extracurricular activities that he would go partake in, be it sports, golf, whatever. And I just told him, well, you better get that rest now, because once your son is here, it ain't going to happen. You're not going to get it. And the interesting thing is, I don't want it to come off like too much of a rant, but we know our kids. They need a nap in the middle of the day, because they get like this crankiness about them sometimes. And it's like, okay, why didn't you take the nap when we had our quiet time, when we had our nap time? Like, that's what we set that time aside for you so that you can get that rest that you need. But they don't want to take us up on that offer. They want to stay up. They want to talk and do all this, that, and whatever. And then come near the end of the day when it's time for bed, they are on it. They're like, no, we don't want to go to bed, or they want to stay up. And there's just all this. The moods are flying all over the place, and it can get intense sometimes. And so tonight, for example, I was trying to record a little bit earlier, and my son decided to walk in like twice, but he's asleep now. So we'll go ahead and record. So what is up, you guys? It is Sunday at the time of recording this. This podcast is going up tomorrow. At the time of you listening to this, I will have recorded it the night before. And I've never really let myself get this far behind in my own personal schedule. I try to release on a pretty consistent basis every Monday, 4 a.m. Now, why 4 a.m.? Because I'm up very early in the morning. That gives me time to listen and to prove out the episodes once they go live, to make sure there's no hiccups, and I have enough time that if there is, I can go back and fix it. Now, I'm not really going to have that luxury right now. We're just going to throw it out there. And I don't think that it's kind of tough to pinpoint why the lack of creative motivation when talking about creating a podcast, or even recording an episode for that matter. I think that it's really tough when the kids don't want to go to bed during their bedtime, because I get this time in typically when they're asleep. And if they take a while to go down for the night, then I have very little energy, very little in terms of brain activity, to try to even convey what it is that I've been thinking about throughout the day, or even throughout the week for that matter. So and I even think about it too, like with school sort of being on, what is it? Spring break, winter. It's not winter break, but I think it's spring break. During this time in between my class schedule, it would be the perfect time to sort of record and catch up, and maybe even have a couple extra episodes ready. But still, I was unable to really collect my thoughts and sit down and put something out there. And I think that maybe forcing yourself to try to be creative or to try to do something can be an issue that I don't think is very healthy, which is why I just didn't record anything. I hardly came into this room, and you can see if you're watching on YouTube, I have a second microphone. Even my wife and I were going to plan on sitting down and getting some recording done, but we've just been really busy. Like, the kids have been keeping us really busy, but I'm doing it now. And, there's been a lot that's been going on. It's been a lot that's been going on in the news. Just I think it's just a lot of negativity that's going on out there. And I don't want to get into politics. I don't want to get into just the whole movement that's going on right now, because I think that it is something that's it's gonna affect more than just one community. I think it's something that has the potential to affect us all, depending on where you stand on the matter, in a positive way. And all I can hope for is the best for our future and for our children going forward. That I was talking with a coworker of mine about just the conversations that we're going to have with our children when they get older, because he was asked by a Caucasian friend of his what it's like what he wanted to know about the Black experience and what that's like, especially with everything that's going on. And he had a really simple answer, that he is going to have a very different conversation with his son than they may have with theirs, just because of the color of their skin. That there are different conversations we have as fathers, depending on our upbringing, depending on our life experiences, depending on the neighborhoods or the areas where we find ourselves, than other people might have with theirs. And I don't think that it's specific to just one community. I think that you can say a lot of people can have that same statement. My son, for example, today, he has been like, the question why has been just, he's all about the word why and asking why about everything. And we look at it like he does want to know the answers to things, but in some instances it comes across as challenging authority. And a long-sighted view of this could be, is one day he, or will one day he, will one day? I don't know how I want to phrase this, but one day when he grows up, will he then have challenge? Now I can't speak. When he grows up, one day will he find himself in a situation where he is challenging authority, i.e. the police, teachers, whomever it is in a position of authority. And as a parent, as a father, I look at it myself, or I'm looking at this situation like, I need to get a handle on this. He needs to understand that there is a chain of command here. There are rules set in place that you may not even understand the reason why, other than the sheer fact that they exist. Why don't we just cross the street whenever we want? Well, some people do, and some people cross wherever they want. However, it is also categorized as jaywalking. There is a law against that. Whether or not you choose to break that law is up to you. You are then a challenging authority. And so by following the laws, you then show that you are a law-abiding citizen, I would hope. So, which is what we want from him. Sit down at the table, eat your food. That is, you can say a law. It doesn't have to in the sense that things are going to fall apart if he doesn't. But if he gets up and he's walking around the house eating food, asking, why do I have to sit down when I eat? It's because we have to put like simple rules in place for him to follow. We can't just all of a sudden have this lockdown on the house. Eat at this time, don't eat at that time, sit down this way, eat with that utensil. Like, we're not micromanaging the amount of things that we're doing. However, when it's time to eat, sit down at the table and eat your food. Simple rule. One that he has been having a really hard time following. And because we're taking the point of really picking and choosing our battles, we're not really making it a big deal, but we're also finding things to then take as a form of punishment. So you don't want to sit and eat? Well, here's a glass of water. Oh, you want a juice? Well, you didn't listen, so water. Or you didn't want to eat your vegetables, so maybe you don't get to play with this one toy that we have set aside as like a special toy to play with. We bought these magnetic sort of blocks or tiles that sort of stick together magnetically. And you can like just build with them, and they're really, really cool. Ages 3 and up, of course, even though our daughter's been playing with it. But we set that aside. This is like a really cool toy. You want to play with this cool toy. And I feel bad, but it's also like kind of, I want to say like a parenting tip. Find what they like, and when they don't follow the rules, take it. It saves you time from having to raise your voice. It saves you time from, and it really kind of puts the ball in your court. Now, where it becomes a problem is when they don't care about things. And our son doesn't care about a lot of things. Like, not to say he doesn't. I should point that he doesn't care about a lot of physical things. So when it comes to toys, okay, you're going to take that toy. It doesn't matter. I have this other toy. They all fall under the same category for him. But so then we try to find, well, what is it that you want to play with in this moment? And then maybe we take that. And it's not indefinitely, but it is to then pause the situation and have the conversation and say, well, you didn't want to listen. Why not? Why don't you pay attention? Why don't you sit down, finish your food? And if you finish your food, you can play with this toy, or you can have some juice, and that's it. Now, there in itself, maybe food is a bad example because there's also a balance between, well, we don't make our kids like clean their plates. Clearly, if they're full and they don't want to eat anymore, then that's it. They're just done. But if they've only taken 1 or 2 bites off of the plate and we know they haven't eaten all day, it's like, come on. It's lunchtime. It's dinner time. It's time to eat. Because we don't want to find ourselves in that situation where it's bedtime and then they're coming out like, hey, I'm still hungry. But just some of the interesting just scenarios you're going to find yourself in as a parent, I feel that there's definitely a lot that I wasn't expecting, a lot of curveballs that my wife and I probably didn't plan on or plan for, and we're just really having to learn as we go. It's definitely an experience, I'll tell you that. My son, we tried to come into the room, which is why if you're watching this on YouTube, you see the microphone in the background, and I tried to have a conversation with him about it, sort of just gain a better understanding of where he is coming from. And as I was sort of saving the video to the computer, I asked him if he wanted to listen back to it. And we were listening to what he had to say, and he was kind of laughing because he was making some silly comments. And then I went back to some older recordings that he and I had done, and it was just really crazy how much his voice has changed in just a short period of time of a year. 1 year in his voice and even his vocabulary and the pronunciation of words, the development that he's made in his speech has really come a long ways. Not saying that it was bad, just saying that it's different. He's growing up. And one of these days, we're going to listen back to a recording or watch a video, and he's just going to have that adult voice. He's going to have a deep voice, and it's going to be different. But I'm glad that I'll be able to go back to these and at least listen to him as a kid when he was 3, when he was 4, and he was just talking on the microphones with me. When now I'm having my daughter come in here and she's talking and recording her voice and singing some songs, and even those are pretty interesting, and those will be great to listen back to as she gets older. But I guess just making the time and not forcing myself to try to be creative when I really have nothing to talk about at the time has been what's been on the forefront. But I'll leave you guys with the recording that my son and I had done on earlier today, where we were talking about video games, and we're talking about, what else did we talk about? Oh, a show that he's been watching on his tablet. So until next time, you guys, thank you for continuing to listen to these podcasts. And as always, till next time, see ya. Yeah.
There we go.
So do you want to tell me what happened today?
What?
When you spit food on sister's plate?
I don't know.
You don't know? You want to tell me why you did that? You don't know? Did you get in trouble? Did you get in trouble when you spit your food on sister's plate?
I don't know. Elvis says that all the time because I pretend to be Elvis.
What does Joseph say?
I don't know.
You don't know, huh?
Yeah, I want to be Elvis.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So then, well, do you know why you did it? Do you know why you spit on sister's plate?
I don't know. He says that all the time in Aliens.
I know he does. But I want to know what Joseph says about that. Do you think it was nice to do? You think it was nice to do that to your sister? No? Or are you just playing the calculator?
This is my computer calculator. You want to comb your hair?
Oh, yeah, that's right. You got a haircut. Who cut your hair?
You.
Did it come out okay? Do you like your haircut? Oh, I can't hear your answer when you just shake your head like that. Do you like your haircut? Yes or no?
Yes. I like your camera.
You like my camera?
Yeah.
You've been coming in and making videos with the camera.
Oh, yeah. What about, you want to do some videos of it and then we could check it out?
Yeah, we could do that after we talk on the microphones.
Okay.
What about the video game we've been playing?
What video game?
You know what video game?
The fighting thing?
Yeah, Streets of Rage. Who's your favorite character?
All of them with you and me. You like all of them more than me?
Yeah.
You like that?
Are you pretty good at the game?
Sometimes I die without my mom.
Oh, yeah?
Because I die because of the military. And then it got and then my mom got sledgehammer.
A sledgehammer?
Yeah, with a bangy record bar like this. And
Oh, okay.
And then she was scared of it.
Oh.
And she thought it was real.
Have you beat the game yet?
Nope.
How many more levels are there?
It's just game over.
Just game over?
Yep. We're still in the concert.
Still in the concert? I thought we beat that one.
But we didn't get to the other guy.
Who's the other guy?
That when we beat all the little guys, and then we get to the big guy.
Oh, the big guy. We didn't beat him. So what guy do you pick?
I pick all of them. Sometimes I die, I pick different characters.
Do you like the rock and roller?
The A doesn't work because my rock's not working.
Oh, so you can't pick up food because the A button doesn't work?
Yep.
But you need the food, right?
Yeah,
What do the stars do?
the stars do. They do also just fight.
Oh, okay. Are the stars very powerful?
Yep. Even more than me and sister.
Really? More than you and sister?
Okay, bye.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's all the talking you want to do?
I have a question after I say bye.
Oh, what's your question? Ask it in the microphone.
The question is, Mandy and Sarah was trapped in Flex Dexter's trailer, and then there was a huge fire at the dock, and most of the buildings at the key in the docks, and then it was about to explode. And there was a huge fire that went like this. That's very scary. We didn't have a fire. Oh yeah. Okay. Bye. That was a huge.
So you like Fireman Sam? Is that Fireman Sam that you're talking about, or are you talking about a real fire at the docks?
Real fire at the docks with Fireman Sam with Flex. He's very the hugest star.
Oh, okay.
Star of this big movie, huge. Okay, bye. Can you turn it off there?
You don't want to talk anymore?
We'll just take some movies, and then we'll come back to the microphones.
Okay.